My wife and I had been together for 12 years, married for 8. We met in college when neither of us had much. We shared cheap meals, secondhand furniture, and dreams about how great life would be once we made it. I thought we were that kind of couple that lasts forever. She used to tell me that I was her safe place, the one person she could always count on. I believed her. I really did. Over the years, things got comfortable. We both worked full-time, paid off debts, talked about maybe having kids someday. There were small arguments, sure, about money, about how we never had time for each other, but nothing that ever felt like a real threat. I thought that's just what long-term marriage looked like. Imperfect but strong. A few months ago, her company announced a big corporate event at a hotel downtown. She was so excited, almost like a kid before Christmas. She tried on different dresses for days. Finally, she chose a red one, elegant, but tighter than what she normally wore to work. She looked incredible. I remember standing there, watching her spin in front of the mirror, thinking how lucky I was. When I asked if she wanted me to come with her, she smiled and said, "Oh, no, honey, it's just for employees. You'd be bored out of your mind." I didn't push it. She'd been working hard lately and deserved a night out. I trusted her completely. That was my mistake, not the trust itself, but assuming she'd always honor it the same way I did. She came home late that night, close to 2 in the morning. I was half asleep on the couch when I heard her keys. She was quiet, almost too quiet. I asked how the party went, and she said, "It was fine, just tired." She smelled like champagne and perfume, and there was a look in her eyes I hadn't seen before, something distant. I brushed it off, told myself I was imagining things. Over the next few days, she started acting strange, on her phone constantly, smiling at messages, then quickly locking the screen when I walked by. When I asked what was going on, she'd say, "Just work stuff." She also started working late more often. Sometimes she wouldn't get home until 9 or 10 p.m., saying her boss was pushing everyone hard for an upcoming project. I wanted to believe her. I really did. But that gut feeling wouldn't go away. It's strange how your body knows before your mind does. Something in me already knew, even before I had proof. A week later, the truth fell into my lap. One of her co-workers, a guy named Eric, sent me a message. We'd met once at a barbecue she hosted for her team. He was friendly, quiet, seemed like a decent person. His text said, "I think you should know what's going on. I'm sorry to be the one to tell you." Attached were screenshots of messages between my wife and her boss. Flirty at first, then explicit. Her writing things like, "I can't stop thinking about you since the party," and "I'll tell him I'm working late." His replies were even worse. I can still remember that moment. Sitting on the edge of the bed, reading every line until my hands started shaking. It was like the world around me disappeared. Just me, the phone, and those words that tore through everything I thought I knew about my life. I must have read them 10 times, hoping I had misunderstood, hoping it wasn't her. But it was. Her name, her photo, her words. I didn't say anything to her right away. For 2 days, I carried that truth inside me, pretending nothing was wrong. She'd smile and ask how my day was, and I'd nod, all while feeling like I was watching a stranger wear my wife's face. I think a part of me hoped she'd confess on her own, that she'd break down and tell me everything before I had to ask. She didn't. So on the 3rd night, I finally confronted her. She was in bed, scrolling through her phone. I asked, "Were you with him? At the party?" She froze. Then her whole face changed. Guilt, fear, shame, all at once. She didn't even try to lie. She just started crying. "I'm sorry," she kept saying. "It just happened. I was drunk. It didn't mean anything." I asked her how long it had been going on, and she said, "Just that one night." She swore it. I didn't even know if I believed her anymore. The woman sitting in front of me wasn't the one I married. She looked the same, sounded the same, but the trust, the connection, it was gone. I told her to leave. She begged me not to. She got on her knees, crying, grabbing my hand, saying, "Please, please, don't end this. I'll do anything. I'll quit my job. I'll cut all contact with him." but her words meant nothing. I couldn't even look at her. I felt empty, completely hollow. She packed a small bag and left that night. When the door closed, the silence was deafening. I sat on the floor for hours, staring at the spot where her shoes used to be. I didn't cry right away. I just sat there, trying to process how 12 years of love could vanish in a single evening. It's been 3 months now. The apartment feels colder without her, but at least it's honest. No pretending. No lies. Just quiet. Some nights, I still see her in that red dress when I close my eyes, smiling, twirling, asking me how she looks. I wish I could hate that memory, but I can't. It's a reminder of the person I loved, not the one who broke me. And maybe that's the cruelest part of all, missing someone who doesn't exist anymore. The first few weeks after she left were the hardest thing I've ever lived through. It's strange. You think heartbreak will feel like anger, like fire. But for me, it was silence. The house felt dead. Every room had pieces of her still in it. Her hair tie on the nightstand, her favorite mug by the sink, her shampoo still in the shower. I didn't touch any of it. I couldn't. It felt like moving them would make everything real. Like admitting she was gone for good. I went to work, came home, barely ate. My friends tried to get me out of the house, but I couldn't stand being around people. I didn't want sympathy. I just wanted my old life back, the one that disappeared overnight. Sleep became impossible. I'd lie in bed until 3 or 4 a.m., replaying everything in my head. Every conversation we'd ever had, every smile, every small red flag I ignored. I'd ask myself over and over, was she unhappy? Did I do something wrong? Was I not enough? Then, 2 weeks after she left, she showed up at my door. I still remember it like a movie. It was a Sunday morning, gray and rainy. I heard a knock, opened the door, and there she was. No makeup, hair tied up, eyes red and swollen. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. "Please," she said quietly, "can we talk?" Part of me wanted to slam the door. The other part wanted to pull her in and hold her. Instead, I just stood there, frozen. She kept talking. Said she made a terrible mistake, that she'd ended everything with him, that she couldn't live with herself. She told me she loved me, that she'd do anything to fix what she broke. "I'll quit my job. I'll go to therapy. I'll do whatever it takes," she said. "Just give me one more chance." Her voice cracked on those words. I could see how broken she was, but I was broken too. So I told her the truth. "I don't know if I can ever look at you the same again." She started crying harder, said she'd prove it to me, that she'd earn back my trust no matter how long it took. I didn't respond. I just let her talk until her voice gave out. Eventually, I let her come inside, not because I wanted her back, but because I couldn't stand watching her fall apart on the porch in the rain. We sat on the couch, the same couch we used to watch movies on. She reached for my hand, and I pulled it away. That tiny moment said more than words ever could. She cried quietly beside me while I stared at the floor, feeling nothing and everything at once. For the next few days, she kept trying, calling, texting, sending long messages about how much she regretted it, how she'd thrown away the best thing in her life. She said she couldn't forgive herself. She said she wished she could take it back. I didn't reply to most of them. Sometimes I'd type something out, then delete it before hitting send. Because what do you even say to that? It's okay? It wasn't. It would never be. One night, I finally answered one of her calls. She sounded different, calmer, but tired. "I know I can't undo what I did," she said. "But please, I need you to know it wasn't because of you. You didn't fail me. I failed you." I didn't say anything for a while. Then I told her, "You know what hurts the most? It's not even the cheating. It's that you let me sit across from you for days, smiling, laughing, acting normal, while you were lying to me. You looked me in the eye and pretended everything was fine. I can't get that image out of my head." She started crying again, but I couldn't comfort her. I didn't have it in me anymore. I ended the call and threw my phone across the room. After that, I decided to start therapy, not to fix a marriage, but to fix myself. I needed to understand why I still felt attached to someone who destroyed me. My therapist told me something that stuck. You can love someone and still decide they don't get to hurt you again. That line hit me like a punch, because that was exactly what I was doing. Clinging to the love that used to be, hoping it would be enough to erase what happened. But it wasn't. Love doesn't fix betrayal. It just makes it hurt more. About a month after she left, she came by one last time. She said she'd accepted that I couldn't forgive her, but she wanted to apologize properly. She handed me a letter, handwritten, pages long. I still haven't read all of it. It's sitting in a drawer somewhere. She said goodbye, then walked away for good. I didn't stop her. I didn't even cry this time. I just felt peaceful. Empty, but peaceful. That night, for the first time since it all happened, I slept. The pain didn't disappear. It just changed. It became quieter, more manageable. I started running in the mornings again, picked up a few new hobbies, reconnected with old friends. Every day hurt a little less. Sometimes I still think about her, not the version that cheated, but the one I fell in love with years ago, the one who used to dance barefoot in our kitchen, laughing at songs she half remembered. That woman's gone, but I can still be grateful for what we had before everything fell apart. Maybe that's what healing really is, accepting that not everything broken needs to be fixed. It's been almost a year now. A full year since the night everything fell apart. Since I found out, since she left, since the person I loved most became a stranger. If someone had told me back then that I'd be okay someday, I wouldn't have believed them. I honestly thought that kind of pain would last forever. It's the kind of hurt that sinks deep, like it carves a hole inside you that can't ever be filled again. But time really does have a strange way of healing. Not in the everything's fine now kind of way, more like your wounds don't bleed every time you think about them anymore. They just become scars, and you learn to live with scars. The first few months were survival. I was just existing, waking up, going to work, coming home, and sitting in silence. I kept everything that reminded me of her in a box, photos, notes, that stupid red dress she forgot in the closet. I couldn't throw them away, but I couldn't look at them either. They were like ghosts I wasn't ready to face. But little by little, life started creeping back in. I started running again, going to gym, cooking proper meals instead of living off takeout. I got back into photography, something I'd given up years ago because we never had time. It's funny how much time you find when you stop pouring yourself into someone who doesn't deserve it. My therapist helped me untangle a lot of the guilt I didn't even realize I was carrying. For months, I blamed myself. Maybe I wasn't attentive enough. Maybe I took her for granted. Maybe if I'd gone to that party, she wouldn't have done what she did. But that's the trap of betrayal. It makes you question your own worth instead of the person who broke your trust. Eventually, I understood something simple but freeing. Her choices were hers. I didn't make her cheat. I didn't push her into someone else's arms. She made that decision, and she has to live with it. Not me. I ran into her once, about 6 months after it all happened. It was at a grocery store, of all places. She looked smaller somehow. Not physically, but emotionally. She smiled a weak, hesitant smile and said, "Hi." I said hi back. That was it. No tears. No shouting. Just two people who used to know everything about each other. Now strangers making small talk next to the fruit aisle. When I walked out of that store, I realized something. I didn't hate her anymore. I didn't love her either. She was just someone from my past. Someone who taught me a lesson I'll never forget. Since then, life has started to feel lighter. I moved to a new apartment. New furniture, new view, new memories. I even adopted a dog, a rescue, nervous and shy, just like me at first. Funny how animals can sense brokenness and offer comfort without saying a word. Some nights, I still think about her, not in a sad way, more like a quiet memory, the way you think about an old photograph. I remember the good moments, but I don't long for them anymore. That's how I know I've healed. Forgiveness isn't about saying it's okay. It's about deciding that you won't let someone else's actions define your happiness anymore. I've started dating again, slowly. I didn't plan to, but life just sort of led me there. The first time I sat across from someone new, I was terrified. My hands were shaking. My mind kept whispering, don't trust her, don't get hurt again. But then she laughed at something I said, and for the first time in a long time, I laughed too. It felt real. Simple. I don't know what will happen with this new person, and I'm not rushing it. What I do know is that I'm not the same man I was a year ago. I'm stronger now, not because I wanted to be, but because I had no other choice. Betrayal changes you. It strips away every illusion and forces you to rebuild from scratch. But when you finally do, you see yourself more clearly than ever before. I used to think my marriage defined me, that being her husband was who I was. But now, I realize I'm more than that. I'm a person who survived being broken and came out on the other side still capable of love, kindness, and hope. Sometimes, healing isn't a grand moment of closure. It's quiet mornings when you wake up and realize you didn't dream about her. It's listening to music without feeling that ache in your chest. It's walking past the restaurant you used to go to and not turning your head. It's peace, slow, gentle peace that finally replaces the chaos. If there's one thing I've learned from all of this, it's that love alone isn't enough. Trust, honesty, loyalty, those are the real foundations. Without them, love is just noise. And if anyone out there ever goes through something like this, that kind of deep, soul-crushing betrayal, just know this. You will get through it. It doesn't feel like it at first, but you will. One day, you'll wake up and the pain will be dull instead of sharp. You'll laugh again, dream again, love again. And when that day comes, you'll realize that losing them wasn't the end of your story. It was the beginning of a new one. As for me, I've stopped trying to forget what happened. Instead, I've learned to live with it. It's part of my story now, but it doesn't control me anymore. I still keep that letter she wrote in a drawer, the one I never finished reading. I thought about burning it once, but I didn't. It's not because I'm holding on. It's because it reminds me of how far I've come. That chapter of my life is closed. And for the first time in a long time, I'm okay with turning the page.